applies, right? A constant applies to something, what? If and only if, blah, 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 right? So we're talking about knowledge, right? So A knows P, right? So that we're saying the concept of knowledge applies, this relation holds between these two things, right? The relation of knowledge holds between an agent and a proposition, what? If and only if, what?
P is true.
P is true.
A believes P.
A believes P. What else?
P is true.
If P weren't true, then A would not.
No, or JTV.
No. Oh wait. A is justified in believing P.
A is justified in believing P, right? And again, tying it back down to our notion of necessary and sufficient conditions, right? What we're saying is, if in fact this is the case, right? Let's just say that, let's say that A knows P or X represents this, and Y represents this, right? So what we're saying is X if and only if Y, right? How would you break this down to explain in terms of necessary and sufficient conditions? What are we saying in here, really? Remember, this is shorthand for what? So okay, X, we'll say, okay, that's fine. X entails Y, and what else?
Y entails X.
And Y entails X, right? Another way of saying that is if X, then Y, and if Y, then X, right? So again, this whole thing is shorthand for all of this, okay? So, all right, now get to your example.
I remember his own example.
All right.
I can't remember the name. Jones and Smith. So Smith believes Jones will get the job because the boss told him he would get the job, and
You know what, sorry, for purposes of, because this is a little bit more difficult for purposes of understanding the tracking theory. So because that one, there's that mediating step, right? And so it's possible to do it, but I didn't go over it with you guys, so I'll just confuse you guys at this point. So remember, so give me an example, one of the other examples in which there's no mediating step, in which you start off originally with a proposition, right? And you're justifying believing that proposition alone, and then.
What about the one you said about, you were saying you were watching the Super Bowl and you believe that the.
Okay, so what's the proposition? So what's the proposition in question?
That you had,
What's my P?
that you knew that the Patriots won the Super Bowl.
Okay, so we'll say, Hector knows Pats win Super Bowl, right? So that's our proposition. Right? Well, sorry. This is our proposition here, right? This is our P. This corresponds to this, and Hector to Hector. Okay, everybody good? Okay, so now give me the getter example that says that all three of these conditions are met.
Hector believes. Believes Patriots won Super Bowl.
So okay, so that would be easy. I believe so give me the example.
You were justified in believing it because you've seen it on TV.
I saw what?
You saw Tom Brady raising the trophy.
Yeah, so I'm justified in believing, here, I believe the proposition, I'm justified in believing that proposition because I saw it on TV, right? And then what else?
Patriots won the Super Bowl.
And the Patriots won the Super Bowl. But why wouldn't I be, why wouldn't this be a case of knowledge, according to that story?
Because
Because it was a recap of a past Super Bowl. What you seen was like something from the past.
So it seems that my knowledge is just coincidence, right? So it doesn't seem like to be So I'm not going through, does everybody remember that
Yeah.
example? Right? So it seems that, right, so okay, so now, why is that a problem for this kind of definition? Right, so again, if x, this represents x, and this represents y. So what are we doing here to show that JTB is not necessary in sufficient conditions for knowledge? What is Gettier trying to do? What is his main conclusion?
Prove that you kind of weren't justified in believing.
So not prove that you're not justified. You are justified in believing it, but what, in terms, again, he uses the same language, right? That's why we keep reiterating. His conclusion is spelled out in terms of necessary and sufficient conditions. What does Gettier say? What is his main conclusion?
That y is not necessary for x.
That y, so which one? No.
The x isn't necessary for what? No. JTB
That
isn't.
what? Sorry, say again?
JTB.
You had it right. That what?
X. Shoot, where was it? X is necessary for y.
No, not that it is. That x is not necessary for y, right? So this is our, oh wait, shoot. Sorry, which was x?
You said that was the first.
Oh yeah, sorry. So you had it right? Or you said it first? I don't know.
He said it.
Yeah, so you said what? Sorry.
That y isn't necessary for x.
Yes, sorry about that. Totally apologize. This is me confusing myself. This is why I need different colors. That y is not necessary for,
For knowledge.
oh no, wait, shoot, sorry.
Knowledge is necessary for JTB.
Last time, no, yes. Sorry, you got it right. 100%, okay. That x, right, yeah, x is not necessary for y, okay? What's another way of saying that?
Y isn't sufficient for x.
Y is not sufficient for x. Now, what are our x's and our y's? So what is he saying? JTB, so now let's say, let's represent it like this. So now that if JTB, then we'll just say knowledge or knows, right? So we said, so the first one we said is that knowledge is not necessary, is not a necessary condition of JTB, right? And what's the other way of saying this?
The justified true belief is not sufficient for knowledge.
Justified true belief is not sufficient for knowledge. And it's actually, that's how Gettier phrased it. He shows that justified true belief, JTB account, is not sufficient for knowledge. And why, how did he do that? What do we do? What do we do here? We gave a case in which what? So how would you show this? This is not sufficient, that JTB is.
Because you were justified that, you had a justified true belief that, you know, the path.
So you had a justified true belief, meaning all of these conditions were met, right?
Yeah.
So all these conditions are true, right? We meet all these conditions, and it still doesn't entail that we have knowledge, right?
Right.
Everybody clear on that?
Yeah.
Right, so JTB, according to Gettier, is not sufficient for knowledge, right? So now the problem with those cases is the following. We have, how much do we have? 30? Oh, okay, cool. Freaking time change, I swear. I'm like nap for a week. Okay. So he's showing that that JTB is not sufficient for knowledge, right? So he's showing that it's not sufficient for knowledge, right? Meaning that the conditional going this way, like this is false, right? He doesn't say anything about this, we don't know, but that's enough to make this whole thing false, right? Which shows, that's enough to show that this definition is not true, right? That JTB is not sufficient for knowledge, right? Now the problem, right, that Gettier just pointed out, the deep problem is that, look, these are clear cases in which the individual in question, right, doesn't have knowledge, right? The individual doesn't have knowledge. However, JTB doesn't have the resources to account for why this individual doesn't have knowledge, right? Because according to JTB, all you need to do is meet all 3 conditions, and you should have knowledge, right? If in fact it was necessary and sufficient, right? We meet all 3 conditions, but clearly we don't have knowledge, but it would entail that we have it, right, if we stick to JTB, so that's the problem. So, okay, so now comes Nozick, right, and so what is, first off, what's Nozick's account? So it's called the tracking theory, right, and, how would you describe it in terms of this? So what conditions, what